Good day, everyone. So today we are going to take a close look at lesson 9. Let's take a look at the very first one, number 12. So for number 12, here it says, no one surprised. White racists were the immediate suspects. So here we choose to no one's surprise. So here it is the sentence pattern to one's surprise, or to one's grief, or to one's amazement, which means someone feels surprised, or someone feel kind of sad, or someone feel amazed. So in this case, we use the pattern like this, to no one's surprise. Here we said no one surprised, so which means no one feel surprised. So no one feels surprised, or in this case, no one felt surprised. And we know white racists were the immediate suspects. And then we'll move on to the next one. So people weren't surprised it had become a target. So it's about the word target. So what did surprise everyone though was the violence of the what? So in this case, we choose the violence of the assault. So assault here means attack. And in this question, or in this blank, a lot of people choose the one indifference. But as we know, indifference for B here, indifference, which means lack of interest, which means not interested. So in this case, probably we will choose the one assault, which means attack. Then let's move on to number 16 we have here. So for the sentence we have here it says, locals understood that the girl's death prevented had the police cared more about the black community. And basically, we know the girl's death might have been prevented if the police had cared more about the black community. So here we are talking about a situation which is not real in the past. So we know in this case, the police actually they did not care about the black community. And as we know, this one is a kind of inverted sentence. So originally there will be if the police had cared more about the black community. Okay, so basically because it is sentence, they want to omit the word if here. So that's why they make this one into a inverted sentence. So that's why it makes into like had the police cared more about the community. So that's why you have to choose this one, might have been prevented, which is about the perfect tense, right? So which is like if someone had done something, all right, and someone would, could, might, and we don't choose should be because it should be should have, okay, done something, right? So this is the sentence pattern we have here, right? Then let's move on to the next one. So the next one is number 18. So finally in 1997, this person, one member of local hate group. So here we know we need an adjective, and because it's a member of local hate group. So here we will choose an adjective which is kind of negative. So that's why we don't choose kind-hearted, which means someone who is being good. But here, because we're talking about the member of local hate group, so probably we choose something negative or something probably we choose D in this case. Actually, this one is not something negative, but it just simply talks about the man is a kind of mid-aged, okay, a mid-aged member. So which is from the word middle age. So as you can see here, for the sentence pattern we have here is a kind of compound adjective. We use an adjective and noun with ed in the end and make into a new adjective. So that's why we have the word kind-hearted. And for the word left, there should be left-handed. And for temper quick, it should be quick-tempered. So that's why the only word we can choose is middle-aged, because it's impossible for us to choose kind-hearted, because there will be a member of a local hate group. So basically, there should be someone not good or someone not kind. Then we'll move on to number 20. So for number 20, here it says, Herman Frank Cash, another white man participating in the attack, died before his trial began. So in this case, we know Herman Frank Cash, this part will be the subject. Died, here will be the verb. So here, inside the two phrases, or beside the two phrases, sorry, it should be like between the two phrases, here is a part we use to describe who Herman Frank Cash is. So that's why we say another white man who was accused of participating in the attack. And here, as we know, you can also omit the word who was, make into a passive voice here. So there should be accused of participating in the attack. So that's why we choose A here. Then let's move on to the next one for number 22 from the part of fill in the blanks. So for number 22, we have here, so we know the man was charged but declared not guilty by a what? So we know who can make the decision about whether someone is guilty or not. It should be a jury. So a jury will be a group of people, a group of members who will listen to the facts during the trial, and they will make the decision to say whether someone is guilty or innocent. So that's why I say by and jury in this case. And as we know in the following says, George Zimmerman admitted to killing Martin. He was released. So we know he admitted to killing someone. But in the end, he was released. He was set free. So it should be something quite contradictory or something quite on the opposite side. So that's why here we choose nevertheless, which means however. So even though George Zimmerman admitted to killing Martin, in the end, he was released. So that's why we choose however or nevertheless. So that's why for number 24, it will be better for us to choose later on. And then in 2014, 2 other black men were killed by white police officers. Then let's move on to the next one for number 29. So for number 29 here it says, some people what? BLM. So as we can see here, some people here will be the subject. All right, and here we need one more verb. So someone do what? And we know some people. So people, that's a plural form. So we choose a root verb here. So that's why a lot of people here choose the option of G, encourages. It should be encourage, right? If you want to make it grammatically correct. So that's why we choose some people despise, BLM. So when you despise something, which means you look down upon something, right? So you think something is quite not good or quite at a low level, there'll be something like you look down upon something, all right? So despise, BLM. Then let's move on to the last one for number 30. So it is not division that BLM is advocating, but what? So not what, but what. So but rather. So it is not division, but rather it's all about like unity. So that's why we had not, but rather. All right, we're talking about it's not about division, but actually about rather unity. Then let's move on to reading comprehension. For reading comprehension, here are two the questions probably you'll have. So let's take a look at number 32 here. Which of the following did not happen to Jackie Robinson in 1947? And here, a lot of people had some kind of probably don't quite get it for option C or choice C we have here. He was selected as the best new player. All right. So as you can see here, why this one is the right one? That's because we can see the one for C here. So he was selected. Okay, so you can take a look at the last paragraph, the very first part in the end, where it says he was selected Rookie of the Year in 1947. So Rookie, we know Rookie, this word can use to say someone who is new here. So it could be a soldier, it could be a new player as well. So Rookie of the Year, which means he is the best one, and especially he's the new one of the year. So that's why he was selected as the best New Year player. This one is true. And actually here we don't talk about and we don't mention anything about his military service, which means it's about like a career job or being a soldier here. So it's not about military service, which means the service of being a soldier in the army, for example. Then for the last one, for number 33, we have here, which of the following statement is not mentioned about Jackie Robinson? So for the one A here, a lot of one choose this one, but actually the answer is right here in the second paragraph we have here. When Robinson attended high school in Pasadena, California, his athletic talents were quickly apparent. He enrolled at UCLA, so UCLA, that's the name of the college, and was a standout on the baseball, football, and track teams, but left, so which means he kind of dropped out school in the junior year, which means in the third year. Because we know for college, the first year will be freshman, and then we have sophomore, and then we have junior, and then we have senior. So that's why for this answer, it says like it didn't finish college because of his mother, which is left in his junior year to assist, to help his mother at home. All right, then let's move on to this one. So for B, he retired because he wanted to fight against racism. But actually, the sentence right here, in the last sentence here, he even continued his fight for civil rights after retirement. So you can take a look at the last sentence of the last paragraph. He even continued his fight. So it's not about that he wanted to fight against racism that he retired. It's about he continued to he continued to fight for racism after his retirement. Then let's move on to the last one we have here for number 40. So for number 40 here, a lot of people choose the answer C, but as we know, here it does not mention that education and health services are kind of professional services. But for B, we know quite obvious from the sentence here. It says, from 2019 shows that 10% of employed black people worked in retail trade. And then we'll move on to the last one we have here. So as you can see, which two numbers or which two figures will be the one based on the information given. So here it's going to talk about you had to make a logical prediction in 2020. And as you can see here, it says 2020 will be higher than those in recent years. So the number should be higher than all of the numbers, especially for the last one, 2019. So the first one must be higher than 6.1%, and the second one must be higher than 3.7%. So that's why the answer will be D, 8.9% and 6.5%. All right. So probably these are all the questions that you don't quite get it while kind of during your test time, and hopefully you can know all the correct answers now and know why that one will be a right answer, will be a correct answer. So if you still have any other question, please leave a comment on the board or classwork, and I will try to answer the other questions over there as well. All right, so that's all about it. See you next time. Bye.